During one of his rare appearances, 2062 did not hesitate when asked about the future. He spoke plainly, without evasion. He revealed something that was both terrifying and shocking. A third world war would erupt before 2030. But the most unsettling part was not just the war itself, it was how it would start. Unlike previous world wars, the origins of this conflict would not come from a single dramatic event. Instead, it would be the result of decades of unresolved tensions between two unnamed nations in Asia. These long-standing hostilities would eventually explode into a conflict that would drag the entire world into a devastating war. 2062 did not name these countries, but he insisted that these unresolved disputes would eventually ignite a global conflict, with Asia being the first region to burn. The United States, Russia, the Middle East, and much of Europe would soon follow. The war would be unlike anything the world had seen before, not because of the scale, but because of the weaponry used. He warned that the war would not be fought with nuclear weapons, as many feared. Instead, chemical weapons would be the primary weapon of mass destruction. According to 2062, these weapons would cause devastation on an unimaginable scale, more horrific than anything caused by atomic bombs. As he spoke, the future seemed more and more grim. Japan, the very country 2062 had warned in the past, would be hit particularly hard. He predicted that Japan would be on the brink of being erased from the map. Cities would fall, landscapes would be destroyed, and millions of people would be forced to flee their homes, turning the country into a sea of refugees and ruins. The more 2062 revealed, the more it became clear his warnings were not just theories. He was providing insight into a future that could very well come to pass. And the scariest part, each prediction he made had come true with disturbing accuracy. After his chilling predictions about the Third World War, 2062 disappeared again from Japan's online forums. His presence in the online world became nothing more than a memory, but his warnings remained. Some people still believed in him and continued to search for answers. However, with each disappearance, the man known as 2062 seemed to fade further into the background. Yet, even after he vanished, he left behind two final coded messages. The first was a cryptic warning. On July 4, 2025, a major earthquake will occur off the coast of Japan. This prediction was eerie for two reasons. First, it aligned with another prophecy found in a manga, a form of Japanese comic that had previously predicted major world events. The second reason it was so unsettling was that it predicted an event that had not yet happened. This left many wondering if 2062's warning would come true. But it did not stop there. There was another message that was far more chilling. In 2024, a major event will occur. By the time this message was left, the world had already entered the year 2025. This final warning caused many to look back at 2024 with unease, wondering which event could have been the major event that 2062 had predicted. Looking back at 2024, it is difficult not to feel a sense of dread. The year was marked by record-breaking heat, making it the hottest year in human history. But that was only the beginning. Natural disasters hit various parts of the world with terrifying frequency and intensity. In Asia, Typhoon Yagi left behind widespread destruction. In the United States, Hurricane Milton tore through communities, while flash floods in Afghanistan claimed hundreds of lives. These disasters were devastating on their own, but when viewed together, they seemed to fulfill 2062's warning. The question, however, remained: was this the major event that he had warned about, or was something even worse still waiting to unfold? As 2024 came to an end, the world held its breath, wondering if the worst was yet to come. By now, some may dismiss 2062's warnings as mere coincidence or a strange internet phenomenon. Maybe you think there is no way someone from the future could have predicted such events. But if even one of these predictions comes true, can we afford to ignore the rest? With every warning, every eerie prediction that has lined up with real-world events, the questions only grow. Is this really the future that awaits us? Could the worst be yet to come? If you are someone who still doubts the legitimacy of 2062's predictions, you are not alone. Many have dismissed him as a hoax, a figment of the internet's imagination. But even so, there is something deeply unsettling about the way his warnings align with real-world events. Could this be the beginning of something far worse? Is the world truly on the brink of a global conflict or catastrophe? We will have to wait and see. For now, We can only reflect on the cryptic warnings left behind by 2062 and consider what they might mean for the future. With predictions of a third world war, chemical weapons, and natural disasters, it is clear that the future may be far more uncertain than we ever imagined. As we look ahead to 2025, there are still unanswered questions. What will happen on July 4th, 2025? Will a massive earthquake strike off the coast of Japan, as 2062 predicted? And what exactly was the major event in 2024? Is this just the beginning? Or is the worst still to come? In the end, whether you believe in 2062's warnings or not, his predictions have certainly given us something to think about. And while we may never know the full truth, one thing is clear: the future is full of mysteries, and the answers might be far more terrifying than we can imagine. Now, as we stand at the edge of 2025, it is impossible to ignore the weight of 2062's predictions. The world has already experienced unprecedented natural disasters, economic turmoil, and geopolitical tensions, many of which seem to align with the warnings he left behind. But there is one question that still looms large in the minds of those who followed his story. What happens next? We have seen how 2062's warnings about earthquakes, tsunamis, and global conflict have come frighteningly close to reality. Yet, despite all the unsettling truths revealed so far, the final warning that he left behind about the year 2025 remains unanswered. According to 2062, the true turning point would occur during this year, with a catastrophic event off the coast of Japan. Will this prediction come to fruition? Only time will tell. As we look around us, the world is in a state of flux. Climate change continues to wreak havoc, causing record-breaking temperatures and devastating weather events. Political tensions rise as nations grapple with economic instability, while natural disasters strike with increasing frequency and severity. In 2024, the world experienced some of the most extreme weather ever recorded. From superstorms to massive wildfires, it seemed as though the planet was pushing back against the damage caused by decades of environmental neglect. These extreme weather events were accompanied by growing fears of a global conflict, with the potential for war intensifying between rival nations. Despite the uncertainty, many still believe in the possibility of a brighter future. Yet there is a nagging sense that 2062's warnings may still be too close for comfort. His final message is, those warnings about a massive earthquake in Japan remain unanswered, leaving many to wonder if the worst is yet to come. So what is the significance of 2062's story? Is he simply an internet phenomenon or a crackpot who happened to predict a few natural disasters? Or is there something more to this tale that we are missing? One thing is clear: his predictions have captured the attention of many, especially those who believe in the power of prophecy and the potential for time travel. Whether or not 2062 is a time traveler or just a person who happened to get lucky with some predictions, his story serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of our world. The events that he forewarned are too close to reality to ignore. From the rise of natural disasters to the possibility of a third world war, 2062's messages have made us question everything we thought we knew about the future. If 2062's warnings are to be believed, the events of 2025 may be just the beginning of something much larger, a third world war, triggered by long-standing tensions between rival nations in Asia, chemical warfare, and the utter destruction of entire countries. These are not just nightmares. They could very well become our reality. What would happen to the world if Japan were to be erased from the map? What would happen if millions of people were forced to flee their homes, creating a global refugee crisis unlike anything we have ever seen? The idea is almost too terrifying to comprehend, but according to 2062, it is a future we need to be prepared for. Imagine a world where cities have fallen, landscapes have been destroyed, and the world's population is scattered across the globe, living as refugees. A world where the very fabric of society has been torn apart by war, natural disasters, and the unchecked use of chemical weapons. This may sound like a dystopian future, but for 2062, it is simply the reality of what is to come. A world forever changed by the events of the next decade. It is not just the warnings about war that should concern us. It is the way 2062 has spoken about the future. He has not just predicted a series of isolated events. He has painted a picture of a world in turmoil, a world where humanity faces unprecedented challenges, and where survival may depend on our ability to adapt and endure. Whether or not you believe in 2062's warnings, there is no denying the impact his story has had. He has captured the imaginations of people all over the world, making us question the nature of time and the possibility that our actions today could shape the future in ways we can't yet understand. As we approach the year 2025, the question is no longer whether we should take 2062's warnings seriously, but whether we are ready for what may come. His final messages are a call to action, a reminder that we are not powerless in the face of an uncertain future. Whether through political, environmental, or technological means, we have the power to shape the future, but only if we act before it is too late. With so much uncertainty ahead, it is natural to wonder what we can do to prepare. While we can't predict the future with certainty, we can take steps to mitigate the damage and improve our chances of survival. Whether that means preparing for natural disasters, strengthening international relations, or addressing the environmental crisis, the time to act is now. The lessons we have learned from 2062's warnings are clear. We must take responsibility for our actions and work together to create a better world. We can't afford to sit back and hope that everything will work itself out. The future is shaped by the decisions we make today. As we come to the end of this story, it is important to remember that the mystery of 2062 is far from over. Whether his warnings come to pass or not, the impact of his predictions will remain with us. The question is no longer whether we should believe in the time traveler, but what we will do with the knowledge he has left behind. In the end, the future is full of unknowns, and only time will tell if 2062's warnings were the harbingers of a new era or just an unsettling story from the depths of the internet. But one thing is certain: the mystery of the time traveler from 2062 will continue to captivate us, urging us to look ahead, to question the future, and to ask ourselves what kind of world we want to create.